Welcome everyone to the Model Frontier. Today we have Pack 10 of Agora Models Build the RMS Titanic. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. That way you don't miss any of my great video game or model building content. So last pack, we really did a lot on the boat deck. We actually finished up the length of it, so we got an idea of just how big that boat deck's going to be. And we added one of the structures to it, the area above the first class lounge. Today, we have really a lot to do and not so much, really. It's a weird issue because on paper, it seems like we're doing a lot. We're doing another funnel, we're adding 3 more structures for the boat deck, and we're putting in some more light bars. But realistically, we're not really doing all that much. You're going to see that this episode's going to kind of fly by really quick. So, hooray, one of our shorter episodes for this build after so many long ones. Before we get back to Titanic, though, we got to answer the Titanic trivia from Pack 9. If you remember, we were talking in Pack 9 about how John Jacob Astor was the richest man in the world at the time the Titanic sunk. But how many millions of dollars was he actually said to have been worth? And of course, the answer is he was worth 250 million US dollars. To give you an idea of what that would be like today, he'd be worth a little over $7,635,979,381.44. So even though back then he was the richest man in the world, today he probably doesn't even crack the top 10. So that just goes to show how money changes over time. But enough about that. Let's go back to Titanic. The first thing we're going to do in stage 51 is we're going to put in a couple of winches. Obviously, if you're using the KA decking, you can see where they go. This is nothing new. We've done this quite a few times already, so just the same as always, we're going to spread our glue along the bottom. Get a nice layer of glue on that. And then stick it down in the square where it goes. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just like that. Now with those done, we're going to put aside our boat deck, and then we're going to talk about what we do for the rest of this stage. And boy, there's a lot to talk about here. So being that these are such short sections, we're going to do your Titanic trivia question now. So your first Titanic trivia question for this pack is, what was the nickname of Titanic's second officer? Was it A, Skip, B, Chuck, or C, Lights? We'll give you the answer in stage 52. So here's a couple parts we have in stage 51 that we are going to have to use. This and this deck house. Now, there's a bunch of modifications we're going to have to do on this. I've already done some of the standard ones. You know, put new doors on, glaze the windows. I glazed them on the inside this time to make life a little easier. And then we got this to do. Now, there is technically nothing wrong with this. These vents on the real Titanic are supposed to open up. And I just think it looks better. So I'm going to make mine open, and I'll show you how to do that. But if you don't want to do that, you can skip all this. On this is actually supposed to be like a stack of wood that's on the deck here, but you can see it's not very detailed, so we're going to replace that with some detailed ones. So let's start by cutting this piece off. Easiest way we're going to find to do that is with a nice hot blade. So Get a nice sharp blade, heat it up, cut it off, and I'll meet you back here. It's just like that. We got those, we got that off, and we got these things out. I'm going to put this to the side for a minute. We're going to talk about this thing. It may not look the prettiest, but it doesn't matter because we got this piece from the KA kit, which is just going to sit right over it. So let's glue that down. We're going to start by putting some glue in our middle section here. So just on this raised middle section, we're going to put some glue. Now we're going to put this piece on top here. I'm going to hold it down until that glue holds it. And now we can put some glue along the edge. So I'm going to put the glue along the edges to hold the edges down, and then I'll come back and we'll take a look at it. So there you go. Now we're going to go paint this white, and then we're going to set this off to the side, and we're going to talk about the blocks of the bits of wood that go on top of the deck house. So here's our pieces of wood. They're all painted up. I only did one side, and I'm going to show you why right now. Because what we're going to do is we're going to glue these together. So the bottom, the one we're going to use on the bottom, I'm going to glue so the bottom one we're going to flip upside down, and we're going to glue it on the metal to metal. And once that's on there, we'll stack the other three on top, just glue each one down, and then we'll take a look at what we do next. Now that we got our bundle of wood done, we need to put these straps on. We're going to use 3 of them because that's what Titanic Honor of Glory shows, plus that's what was on the pieces we cut off. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one here, and we're going to put some glue on it, and this one's going to go in the middle of this stack of wood. We only want to put glue on the middle section and then put it as close to center as we can here. And then we're going to take the other 2 and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to spread glue in the middle section and then put it about equidistant in the, so centered from the edge to the middle of this. So like that. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold up. We're going to fold these up on the side. So pick a side and you're going to put glue on the 2 dots and just fold them up. So do that and I'll come right back on both sides and we'll come back and continue. And once you got all those like that, as you might imagine, the last step is we're going to fold down the top tabs. So once again, rub your glue on, fold them down, come back when that's done, and we'll continue. And there we go. So now that our bundle of sticks is done, we're going to set that aside to dry fully, and then we're gonna grab our Deckhouse and continue on with that for now. So with that look at the boards, before we put anything up on top here, we're going to put on our side the pieces all along the edges. And one thing that we got to take a look at is we're going to start with this vent cover. Now here's the part from the KA set. When you compare it with the piece from this kit, it's way shorter. So unfortunately, we won't be able to use the KA one for this, so we're going to have to use their piece. So we're going to cut their piece off the sprue. Of course, the easiest way to do it is you get one end off and then you kind of just bend the other end back and forth till it comes off nice and clean. And now we're just going to glue that down. So I think it'd be better to spread your glue along the inside here. Once you got your glue in place, you're going to put your piece down. Just like that. Now we're going to put the windows around, and I'm going to say right now that the windows that they give you will fit in those perfectly. The windows in the KA kit are going to be just a little bit bigger than the frames, than the spots in the frames. So technically it won't really matter, but these windows don't have an awful lot of detail to them, so it's really up to you to go with whichever one you like the look of better. So whether you use the KA set of windows or the stock set, I'm going to use the stock set. You need 7 of them to go all around all the windows here. So let's glue those in and come back when they're all done. Now that we've got our window frames in, we are going to now move on to the top and put stuff up here. So now that we're working on the roof of the deck house, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the bundle of logs we made in prior, and we're just going to stick it right up on top here. I'm going to just stick it up top right where the original one was. So like that. So now we're going to take our deck house, whether you're using the stock or the updated, and we're going to just put it into place here. We're also going to take the opportunity before we get too much on top here to put our ladders on where they go. As you can see, I took those ladders off because we have actual other ladders to put on. So just like before, we're going to take one of our ladders, we're going to fold out the two ends up 90 degrees and then glue them on. And we do that twice. So I'll meet you back here when that's all said and done, because I need to actually be able to see this to do it. All right, so now that our ladders are on, we're going to continue doing adding some things to our roof. So next we got two vents that go on either side of the wood pile. These do not have, unlike our other vents so far, these ones do not have a cover on them. So we're just going to put them on with the bulb facing out. Just like that. Now next we're going to go on to this side, and we've got these two vents which go here and here. I'm going to dry fit them first because these are the stock ones. Since it is a tight fit, I think we'll be alright without glue. So I'm going to put those in now. Alright, so with those in, the last thing for this stage is we have another vent, this one shaped like this, and it goes on right over this spot here. Just like that. And with that all done and everything on there, that is it for stage 51. So stage 52 is going to be one of our really short stages this time because, well, there's not a lot we can really do on this, or not a lot that I'm going to want to do on this. We build 3 more lifeboats if you're not using the KA set. Again, 2 with tarps and the other cutter. You already know how to do those. We have another light strip to put in right down in this section, covering this one hole up, yes. So, and there's also a bulb back there that you have to make sure pops out. Then they have you making the other rear davit for the front of the ship. And then the last thing you do with this stage is you just take this piece and it goes right on top of this. They don't say to glue it down or anything, it just says to set it on. So with that, that's it for stage 52, really. Now the answer to your Titanic trivia question, just what was the nickname of the Titanic's second officer? Was it A, Skip, B, Chuck, or C, Lights? And if you couldn't figure that one out, the nickname for the second officer, Charles Lightaller, was indeed C, Lights. So now stage 53, we're going to start focusing on the stuff right in this section right here. For your second Titanic trivia question of this video, what was the cost of a one-way ticket for a private parlor suite on the Titanic in the summer season? If you didn't know, this would be, if you weren't aware, the parlor suite rooms are, if you've watched the movie, the same type of room that Cal and Rose and their group stayed in during the Titanic's maiden voyage. So in the summer season, did one of those cost A, $2,000, B, $3,040, or C, $4,350? Of course, you'll get your answer at the end of stage 54. And the first piece we're going to start with is from the kit 53D. If you're using the KA set, it's part W5. It's this kind of event here. Once you got your glue spread, it's going to go right in this part where there's a plus and a round part. If it helps, you might want to just make sure that you have this piece in for a minute. Make sure that it butts up right. Now our next pieces are both going to go right in here. The first one we're going to do is 53G or W02. It's a piece that looks like this. And it's going to go right here following the plus sign. And then next we have 53H, which is vent V6, this one. And it's going to go right here, pointing, as always, towards the stern. Now this next piece is interesting because they call it a ventilator. It looks like this. It's actually not. What this actually is it's an entrance to the Scotland Road, which is basically like the crew's quarters, the crew's passageway. We don't have a part for this in the KA, but we do have a door that can go on it, so use your best judgment on that if you want to put that on. And it is directional. There's a larger hole and a smaller hole, so it can only go in one way. And you're just going to snap that into place. Just like that. Shouldn't need any glue to hold it in place because it's a very tight fit. So the next piece we're going to put down is W8, which is 53F. It looks like this vent, and it goes right here. Just like that. And then we have to put one more piece on. This is W2. This is not in your Agora instructions, but it is the part of the KA. And it goes right in here. Again, follow the shape of the base. Just like that. So that's all the parts that go in this middle section. Now we're going to move the boat deck off, and we're going to do the deck house that goes here. So this is our next deck housing. And the first thing we're going to do with it is on the underside, you can see I've already done it. We have a light bar to put in. Note that the wire is going to be pretty much at a 90-degree angle on this one, so you're gonna want to be very much aware of that. Now we're gonna go a little out of order here because once again I want to do the stuff that goes on the sides first and then work our way to the top. You should always work from the bottom up on these models as much as you can. So the first thing we're gonna do is right on the front here, we're going to put a grating on. Unlike the one for our other deck house, the KA one will fit this. So we're going to go ahead and put that one on. And now we're going to put on some more windows. On this one, there are 4 to put on, and just like they're the same ones as the ones we used on the other deck house. So because of that, they also do not fit. The KA ones also do not fit this. So I'm gonna use the same ones we used on our other deck housing from stage 51. So just like before, we're gonna put our 4 windows into the 4 spaces they go in, and then we'll come back. So once you got your windows in, you got 3 of these pieces to put on. We're moving along the top. Again, I'm using the stock ones for this because it's just easier. There's not really that much detail on this one, so on this part, so you can just use the stock ones. Now we're gonna put on the extra grating that we've put on the other 2 funnels, because that's what this is. Obviously, a funnel's going up here. And because we want to keep consistency going, I'm going to put the extra grating pieces on the 4 places where it goes. So just like before, we're going to spread our glue and glue them down. And there we go. Now we got a little contrast in the vents here. Now, that is going to be all we do on this stage, because because even though there is a pipe that's supposed to go here, we'll handle that on our next stage. Stage 54, we're going to breeze right along here. Obviously, we're looking at our 3rd funnel. We've done 2 of these already, so putting these together shouldn't be any big secrets. Put the cowling on, put the top on, assemble the piping. They're really giving us all of it all at once this time. Once we get it all assembled, you're going to take the wire labeled K3, And you're going to bring this end through the funnel out the bottom, like that. And now we're going to get our deck housing that we were just working on right here. And they want you to flip it over like this. And you're going to feed it through the bottom part here. So if you think about this thing as a plus sign, it's going to come out the fat side of the plus. And now you're going to put the funnel on. And as you can see, we attached the piping that was supposed to go on last stage. We put it on at this point too. And once we got that in place, they ain't making us wait. They want you to secure that down with a pair of AP screws. Once you got those screwed into place, with your funnel secured to your deck housing, that is it for stage 54. So the answer to your last Titanic trivia question, just what was the cost of a one-way ticket for a private parlor suite on the Titanic in the summer season? Was it A, $2,000, B, $3,040, or was it C, $4,350? And of course, the answer to that is C. It was $4,350 in 1912. To put it in perspective, in today's dollars, that would be about $136,827.23 today. Another fun fact about the parlor suite rooms, in the movie, Cal and Rose stay in B52, 54, and 56. On the actual Titanic, those same parlor suites were occupied by none other than J. Bruce Ismay. So here we are with stage 55. There's not really much to say about it. It's just building this up. So that's pretty much all there is to it. We're building the reservoir for the funnel. So once you get that all built up, you follow the directions, and that is it for stage 55. Your third Titanic trivia question for this video. So even though his name wasn't Jack, there actually was a J. Dawson on the Titanic. He was one of the people that worked on the ship. Where exactly on the Titanic did J. Dawson work, though? There's no multiple choice here. You're going to have to figure that out, or just wait till the end of stage 56 for the answer. So here we are at the start of stage 56, and we're working on the deck housing for where the fourth funnel is going to go, basically. Again, lights, we put a light thing in on the bottom. I already did that, like the other one. The cord's going to bend at 90 degrees. Now we're going to look at this top section here, and we're not using the stock kit, we're using the KA set. So we're going to want this. Now this does not get glued down. What this actually does is it tells us where these parts go. So what you're likely going to want to do is we're going to grab a pencil, hold this down, and just color in areas to match this. Now that we've got those colored in, we can put on our updated pieces. Our first part is going to be this vent, which, if you're using the KA set, it is piece number 31. 31. And it is going to sit right here on this piece. So it's going to cover right here. You get it as straight as you can. Just like that. And next we have two vents to put in. It's 56C and E on this part, but it's also V12 and 13 from the KA set. 12 is they're only going to fit in one way. It's a very tight squeeze into this section. You're going to put V12 or 56E right here. And it's going to butt up right against the vent there. So it's all going to kind of butt right in there. And then 56C or V13, as you can imagine, go on this side. Just like that. And once you got all that into place, that's it for stage 56, and that is it for this pack. And the answer to your third Titanic trivia question, just where on the Titanic did J. Dawson work? And if you weren't able to figure it out, he worked in the boiler room. He was one of the boiler room workers. So that's it for this episode of the Model Frontier, and we got like I said, we got quite a lot done, and we did very little. So this is a very weird issue, but you can't deny the results look good, especially that if you do the modifications, that one deck housing with the boards on it looks really incredible. So thank you so much for watching this. Before we go, your between episode Titanic trivia question. Approximately how many people could the first class dining saloon accommodate? Is it A, 400, B, 450, or C, 550? That answer and more great model building will come to you next time on the Model Frontier.